Hi, welcome to another episode of Wealth and Wonder in Your Business in 2022. So, today I'm going to talk to you about the tsunami effect and the importance of trust and resilience on the path to more than enough clients. Essentially, today I'm going to share with you the little known secret about how success actually happens and how it works and why so many people give up too soon, including me. I almost gave up, and I almost gave up like right when I was about to have a quantum leap or a shift. And I see a lot of people doing that. So that's what we're going to talk about today. My name is Elsa Contier. I'm the founder of the Sovereign Entrepreneur Academy, where we essentially marry step-by-step strategy with deep inner work and energetics to help soulful entrepreneurs, conscious leaders, change makers, transformational practitioners to get booked out without burnout, to create powerful visions for what they want to create and the kind of impact they want to have in the world, and to fill their programs without having to do any kind of big launches that drain their soul or wasting the time, their day away on social media. I'm really glad that you're here. Say hi to me. If you're watching this at any point on the replay, say hi to me as well. I always like to know who's watching this. I am here in sunny Boulder, Colorado. So at the end of this training, I'm also going to put forth an invitation for you to join my small group, the Entrepreneur Academy, Sovereign Entrepreneur Academy, in January. So I'm opening a couple spaces to essentially have that support to get booked out without burnout and to have a quantum leap and to expand your business with ease in 2022 and to really grow from a place of quantum alignment, from a place of joy, from a place of soul. So if that feels interesting to you, I'll tell you more about it at the end. And the price will be going up in January. So this is an invitation for you to join at the current price. All right, I'm going to tell you a couple stories around where this idea of the tsunami effect, where this came from. First, I'm going to share my story with you. And some of you who've been following me have heard this. But I've been a licensed psychotherapist and energy healer for almost 20 years at this point. And I had a relatively successful practice locally where I was helping people to grow their practice and to get in alignment. And then I decided that I was going to do more of what I was teaching and really grow my business online and try to impact people from all over the world. And so I started a Facebook group. This was a few years ago. And I posted in there every day, or at least 5 to 6 times a week. I went live, I posted videos, I did content for months and months and months and was not getting any results. I would get a few comments, I would get some hearts, some thumbs up, that kind of stuff, but no one was actively booking appointments or wanting to work with me or even asking about how to work with me. And I did that for about 8 months, maybe even a little more. And I remember thinking that maybe I just wasn't meant to do this. Maybe it wasn't aligned for me. Maybe online was too busy by this point, and I should just focus locally and focus on the practice that I already had and just forget about it. And I had a conversation with my coach at the time about that. And what she said to me was that it was too soon for me to make that decision. That most people, work at growing a business for 18 months, 2 years, 3 years before they actually start seeing a profit and start seeing results, and that I was giving up too soon. And so, there was something about this conversation, this pep talk that she gave me, where I decided to go ahead and just continue on. And I kid you not, probably within a month or two of that conversation, something shifted. And I can't quite explain to you what that was, but first client came, then second, then third, then fourth. And it was like something shifted, something exploded, and suddenly I had a wave of new clients, to the point where within 3 months or 4 months, I tripled my business, including my therapy business. That was still happening, but I was bringing in so many more clients, and I literally got booked out, which is why I call it the tsunami effect. Because oftentimes in a tsunami, everything goes calm. And in a tsunami, sometimes like the water recedes before you see the wave. So I find, and I've seen this over and over with colleagues of mine, in myself, in my clients, that it's very rare that you put something out there and you start getting results. Usually you have to build momentum, you have to build goodwill, you have to put yourself out there from a place of courage, from a place of experimenting and curiosity and service, and you have to do it for a while before you start seeing the wave come back. And we can look at it from a number of different ways, but one of the ways could be that this is partially life making sure that we're for real, that this is partially life making sure that we are going to stick it out and be here for the long haul, not just when it feels good, not just when it's working. And I think this is especially true for those of us whose business is wrapped up around our purpose, whose business is literally not just something we're putting out there like a product or something, but this is something that comes from our soul. This is something that's supposed to impact the world in a powerful way. I feel like there's something in the universe, there's something in the unseen forces where, for those of us who are doing that, they don't want our gifts out there if we're not going to have the courage, the resiliency, the trust to essentially go the whole way. And so we're tested at the beginning. I had and this is something I hear often, but I had a client of mine who was talking about, hey, I'm going to put this out there and I'm going to put a couple posts and I'll see what kind of response I have. And if I get no response, then I'll know that I'm out, it's not in alignment. And I told her that's BS. Like, alignment isn't about getting the response we want right away. Although that can happen when something's really in alignment, or when you've been building momentum for a while, but you were slightly out of alignment, so you weren't getting response. Suddenly something clicks and you get in alignment, and suddenly like everything expands. But for most of us, we need to have built that momentum. We need to have built that goodwill before that happens. And so I said to her, alignment is about whether or not it feels right within you and it is exactly what you're meant to share. Alignment doesn't mean that you're going to get a response right away. And if you think that way, you're going to sabotage yourself, because you're going to put something out there that you feel deeply passionate about, that you know is what you're meant to do and how you're meant to serve and impact the world. And you're not going to get response and you're going to give up. So the tsunami effect is really about inviting people not to expect results right away and to actually relax around the fact that sometimes it takes a while to get a return on your investment. And when I say investment, I mean emotionally, energetically, time-wise, even investment in terms of what it's cost you to get to where you're at. I had another client say to me, and this was right before the holidays, she was talking about how she wasn't sure that she was meant to be an entrepreneur, because she wasn't seeing enough results. She's had, some results, but it's been a lot of work. And my answer to her was, take a few days off. Trust the process, take a few days off. Oftentimes, when we're not seeing the results, it's either that we're burned out, so we are having an actual resistance to seeing results, or it means that we're slightly out of alignment. We're not offering the right thing. And so we need to relax. We need to go into ourselves and have some spaciousness so that we can get creative and figure out what is it that I'm really lit up with sharing, what's really my unique brilliance. Or it means that we're giving up too soon. And so this was right around Thanksgiving, I think, just before Thanksgiving. And so she took the whole week of Thanksgiving off. And I think she even took like a couple days early December off. And then she just tweaked a little something, got in her own heart and starting putting things back out there. And suddenly like had 3 clients back to back to back right before Christmas. Again, I think there's a thing with being tested. She almost gave up, then she recommitted, and things opened and started happening for her. And then I'm going to give you one last story. And this is more a story about how things work and how things happen in nature. I'm actually going to give you 2. One of them is a metaphor, the other is a real story. So I have a client who loves to grow mushrooms. He's a foodie, he loves to cook, mushrooms are expensive, so he will grow mushrooms, he'll give some to friends for Christmas, like he just loves to grow mushrooms. And this was a while back, he was starting his first batch of mushrooms. And him and I had a session, he was like, I did something wrong, probably the spores, something happened, but this thing's been sitting there for 2 weeks and I'm seeing nothing. Like there's literally nothing happening. I don't think it's supposed to take that long. So I'm probably going to have to start over. And then he sends me a picture like 24 hours, maybe 48 hours later. And he's like, Ilsa, look at this shit. In 48 hours, look at what happened. And literally it was like nothing, nothing, nothing. And then overnight, it literally happened overnight. Overnight, he went to bed and there was not really anything happening. And then he woke up the next day or looked at it the next day, like 12, 16 hours later. And there were little tiny mushrooms popping out of everywhere. I don't mean 2 or 3. I mean a forest of mushrooms. They were everywhere. That's an example of the tsunami effect. Nothing happening, nothing happening. It's taking a lot more work than you think it should, or it would. And suddenly something shifts, something collapses, and things start happening. And then the last metaphor I'm going to give you around this is bamboo. So what everybody knows about bamboo is that bamboo grows like weeds, right? Like it grows fast, it's all over, it spreads, it's all over the place. What most people don't know is that when you plant a bamboo seed or when you start a bamboo, you don't see anything for a very long time because the bamboo is actually growing inside deep before it starts shooting out. And so for a lot of the time, if you are a bamboo, you're literally like looking and like let's say you're a farmer and you're trying to plant bamboo shoots everywhere and you're looking at your neighbors and you're seeing them and they've planted their seeds at the same time as you and they're getting a lot, like already they're seeing growth everywhere, maybe they're starting to collect, like things are happening, and you look at your field and there's nothing there and you're like, something went wrong, how come my neighbors got all this and I see nothing here? What you don't realize is your bamboo is growing, but you can't see it yet. It's growing underground. It's growing in roots. But when it starts popping out, it pops out everywhere and it grows extremely fast. So those are metaphors, those are stories I want you to keep in mind as you are growing your business in this coming year, as you are expanding, as you are putting out goodwill and being in inspired and aligned actions. And if you're ready to have your own tsunami, if you're ready to have your own quantum leap, then I really want to invite you to join the Sovereign Entrepreneur Academy. So you will have ongoing support energetically and strategically on how to have that breakthrough in your own business and to essentially grow with ease and with a lot more speed than you would on your own. Let's talk a little bit about how this happened, how this tsunami effect happens. I want you to think of success as essentially the compounding effect of small strategic actions over time. It's like compounding interest. Or another way to look at it would be the drop of water. The drop of water that doesn't look like it's doing anything. It's a drop of water in a bucket. You don't really see any difference, but over time, something is happening. And at some point, the bucket overflows. The tsunami effect is essentially the bucket overflowing. It's when you have put yourself, your energy, you have claimed your own power, your own brilliance enough, and you've shown up enough time creating authority, creating expertise, creating goodwill out there, something shifts and you start seeing results. One of the things that happen a lot out there in the online space, and actually even beyond the online space, like if you think of a famous athlete, an athlete goes on there, does something amazing, you hear about them, you see how much of a genius they are. It almost seems like they showed up out of nowhere. You never hear about all the failures along the way. You don't hear about all the hard work and the years of practice. An athlete didn't become who they are, didn't become famous overnight. Same thing with an actor. By the time you see someone on a movie screen or something, you feel like they came out of nowhere. But that's just not true. What happens is that they practiced, that they failed over and over and over, that they had nothing. They were turned down, rejected over and over and over, but they never gave up. That is how you end up. Hold on, I'm turning my phone off because I'm getting phone calls. That is how you end up having that breakthrough. At some point, something shifts. At some point, there is a quantum leap. So when you have a clear, determined outcome, you know what you want to create. You know the kind of results you want to have. You want to think of your decision to create this and the actions you're taking as essentially you becoming a beacon for the future, for the results that you're trying to call forth. It's almost like you and your destined future are moving towards each other. The more you stay put, the more you move in trust and in faith, the more you create goodwill, the more you step into your power, the more you show up from that place of authority and you don't give up and you believe in your dream, you believe in the impact you're meant to have, you believe that you're destined for this, you believe that you're going to transform the world. You don't give a shit about your outcomes. You just keep showing up, you keep showing up, you keep showing up. And at some point, something collapses. Time collapses, reality collapses. And the impact you're supposed to have, the wealth you're supposed to create, meets you. Every courageous action, every aligned action, every time you show up from a place of faith, from a place of resilience, from a place of trust, knowing that at some point you will see results, even if you don't see them now. Every time you do this, it's like you're pulling on the string of your destiny. You're pulling towards you what you are meant to experience, what you are meant to create. every time you act, you bring that future closer. You bring those results closer. It's not that the actions you take create the result. The result is when you make a powerful decision and you know in your soul that you're destined to transform the world, that reality exists already. That reality is. But every time you walk in faith, you walk in trust, you take these aligned, strategic, inspired actions, and you're surrendered to the results. You're just moving in trust. Every time you do that, what's happening is not so much that you're creating the results that you want. The results are what you're doing is you're literally, as I said, pulling your destiny towards you, and you're allowing what is already on its way to you, what is already destined for you to come into your reality and to become your reality. Your actions are essentially your message to the universe that you're open and willing to receive, that you're ready for the destiny that you know you were born for, and you are available and allowing in the abundance, the impact, the transformation, the results that you know are already yours. If we go back to this idea of the drop, it's not, oftentimes people are like looking for the right strategy, looking for the energetic shift. It doesn't work that way. Oftentimes, like I've heard this over and over, I'm thinking of a particular client who decided to do a particular kind of event, like it was a workshop. And she did this workshop over and over and over, like a one-day workshop. And she would do it for 3 people and 4 people, and she might get a sale here and there. And then one day, same workshop, same name, like wasn't doing anything different. I think she did this workshop 8 or 9 times. She did it every 6 to 8 weeks, 8 or 9 times. And then one day on like workshop number 8, rather than having 3, 4, 5 people, suddenly there was 10 here, or there was 12 there. And suddenly, like the momentum, something shifted and things started happening for her. It's not that she suddenly did something different. It's a combination of things. Her energy was different. Her trust was different. And all the momentum that she had quietly been building in the unseen, in below the ground, were popping up, were popping forth. So you're dropping these drops and nothing much is happening. That last drop that makes the bucket overflow isn't a special drop. It's just the next right step. And I think that's what's important for you to figure out. It's not always about knowing, like changing things. It's about trust. It's about resilience. It's about, yes, if something's not in alignment, if something doesn't feel right, if something's not quite the right message, not quite the one thing, then yes, shift it, change it until you find your thread. You find your brilliance. You find exactly what you're uniquely gifted to share in the world. You find the right words to speak your gifts. But oftentimes that last drop is nothing special. It's just you having stayed the course. It's about you being diligent. It's about you being consistent. It's about you showing up for yourself and for your gifts and for your ideal clients and speaking to them over and over and over until it finally pays off. And whenever you're about to give up, it's about you asking yourself, what if my tsunami is a month or 2 out? Do I have another month or 2 inside me? And then to keep going and to keep going and to keep going until you see not only results, but effortless results. Not only success, but effortless success. Because at that point, it's like that snowball. Like it's picked up, it's growing, it's picking up speed. It's a lot It's just moving with a lot more ease. When I share about this with clients, they will often tell me, well, what about this person? Like, it looks like they exploded out of nowhere. And I hear all the time, like, I follow a woman that I like online, and she always talks about how she got to 6 figures in 6 weeks. What she doesn't share a lot of the time is that she was actually online for 3 years and failed and couldn't get anything, like really any momentum, until that 6 weeks. She ended up putting a new offer out. She ended up doing something slightly different, and suddenly within 6 weeks, things shifted. She likes to talk to people about how she was able to create 6 figures in 6 weeks, and she can help you do that as well. She doesn't talk to you about the 3 years of failure and testing and shifting and tweaking before that. My sense is that people who have very fast results, they're most likely leaving out a huge portion of their journey, or they were totally out of alignment, and then they suddenly figured out the exact right thing and got super energetically aligned, and something shifted in that. The other thing I want to leave you with this is there's nothing wasted. As you are literally creating your tsunami, you are literally growing your field of bamboo and seeing nothing. You are doing something. You are creating and building expertise, positioning, and authority in the marketplace. The more you repeat your message, the clearer you get on your message. You are literally putting out there that you are the person who works with these kind of people, who solves these kinds of problems, who creates these kinds of transformation. I think this is especially true in this marketplace right now, is literally people need to hear who you are, what you have to offer, and the kind of transformation you provide over and over and over until it starts to sink in and they actually start thinking of you when they think of that problem. That's what you're doing. That's what you're creating. By the time the wave comes, what's happened is that you've repeated your message, you've shown up enough time, you've associated and linked yourself to the transformation you provide enough times that people actually start thinking of you when they want that transformation. Your ideal clients actually, like, you have put the seed of that bamboo and it started to show up inside them. That's when they will refer people to you. That's when they will start showing up, like, purposefully to start seeing your content. They won't just like see it in their feed. They'll be like, oh, I wonder what Ilsa or what Janet or what Michael has been putting out. They'll like literally go on there and actually start checking you out and following you. And that's when they will actually start working with you and paying you for your service, because that trust, that authority, that relatability, that knowing of you will be permeated in their being. So you have to have a strong anchor in your passion, in your purpose, in your mission, and full trust, not only in yourself and in your gifts, but also in the way the universe works, so that you can continue to show up powerfully day after week after week after months until something shifts. My coach, Shamika Tankerson, who is 7 figures, she made close to $2 million in the last quarter of this year. So very successful entrepreneur. One of the things I love about her is how open she is about how long it took her to build that momentum. and how she was investing in high-level mastermind and high-level coaching and seeing everybody around her sprout, pop, start getting clients, start putting a name out there. And she still wasn't getting her 10K months. She still wasn't, like creating sustainable income and getting the results she wanted. But she stuck with it. She stuck with her inner knowing that she is meant to do this, that she's destined, wired for success, for transformation. And I think it took her something like 4 or 5 years before she started making really good, consistent money. And then she was stuck at around $100,000 to $200,000 for another like 3 or 4 years, and then suddenly expanding again beyond that into, at this point, 7-figure. So it was a journey, and I love that she talks about that journey and the struggles and the self-doubt and the worthiness that wasn't there, and how much she worked on her own inner thing so that she didn't wobble, so that she stayed in trust. She stayed, of course, my dog decided to pick this one moment to decide to play with her squeaky toy. And so that's my invitation for you, is to know that you have a path to effortless success. It's wired in you. But you have to stay the course, and you have to walk in faith, and you have to build resiliency, and you have to stay in the certainty of what you are destined to create and to have and to do. And essentially focus on being in action, in aligned action, in inspired action, without giving a shit about the short-term results you see or don't see. Just knowing that you are literally, as you are in action, you are literally calling forth your destiny, and you are literally collapsing time and creating your tsunami. That your wave is coming. Your wave is coming. All right, that's what I have for you. I'm going to give you my last CTA here. Eleanor, stop it. You can play after. Come here. Come here. Can you give me a toy? Can you give it to me? Got it. All right. You wait. So I want to invite you to join the Sovereign Entrepreneur Academy. If you want to have that tsunami in 2022, if you want a breakthrough year, if you want to create a lot more abundance and a lot more impact in your life, in your business, from a place of a lot more ease and flow, if you want to literally double your results working half the time, then the Sovereign Entrepreneur is literally designed for you. In the Sovereign Entrepreneur, I essentially give you step-by-step organic strategies and fundamental timeless business principles. And I marry that with deep energetic work and quantum alignment, so that everything that stands in your way, everything that makes you doubt yourself, that makes you wobble, that sabotages your results, you can literally release, heal, make whole. And you have every step-by-step action you need to take to create that momentum, to create that wave that's going to come back towards you. SEA, the Sovereign Entrepreneur Academy, is an intimate incubator. There's 10 of us, and it is a group that's going to stay small, because I believe, one, in intimately knowing everyone in there and everybody knowing each other intimately. And I believe in having a lot of space, a lot of time for really great in-depth support. It's an amazing amount of support, an amazing amount of value for an extremely affordable price. The price is going up in probably is going up like January 3rd or 4th. So if you want that quantum shift, if you want that leap, if you want that expansion with ease, from a place of flow, with more freedom and more free time, and you want all of that with a lot of support and at an incredible rate, then I'm inviting you to check it out before the price goes up. I have the link in the comments so you can check it out. You can message me. We can hop on a call, see if it is the right fit for you. And I would love to have you. It's an amazing group. And essentially it has that strategic aspect, that business aspect, and all the energetic work so that we can stay the course and so that we can show up powerfully. All right, that is it for me. Have a lovely week.